guys, what is going on? Blossom's back, and welcome back to another episode of Top Drives, and we have a GT series. Ooh, pretty much nobody cares. But anyway, the pack that you need to open to get this, GT series, where no one's really excited about. I mean, to be fair, I think it's fair to say that the majority of people are not interested in the GT series, but there are a handful of people that actually enjoy the game mode. So it's not fair to say nobody cares about it, but. Yeah, GT series doesn't carry as much hype, is it? Like, I don't even do the prize car autobiographies for this one. But anyway, if you want to win the Bugatti Devo, I think it is, the black one. I don't know if it's Devo, is it the other one, the La Vicinoia, whatever it is. If you want to win that, obviously there's a GT series that has a very interesting requirement. It's basically European New Wave, Estates, and Hatchbacks. And my goodness, this pack is honestly a really good depiction of what this update has been. Just a lot of filler, and then the good stuff are just really good, and that's about it. So let's get into today's video of what you can get from that pack. This is the pack that you need to open to get yourself that Bugatti, and of course we're gonna have some OG tier names over here. We have Dirk Kaiser, Daily Driver, Frequent Provider, Printers also, and of course the mainstay Hot Garbage. Now, the main thing about this pack is that it's very ultra heavy. Outside of that, there are only 6 epics that you can get and 5 legendaries. So we're going to talk about the main bread and butter, the noodles, if you will, of this pack, and those are going to be the ultra-rares. And what a way to start, but with some times. Ooh. So we're going to start out with all the all-surface tire ultra-rares that you can get in this pack. How good are they actually going to be? Well, here's the thing. I think that this niche is slowly growing to be bigger and bigger and bigger. For the longest time, all surface tire estates was only represented by the Subaru Impreza Gravel Express, but now there are more and more cars coming to this niche, which is also pretty cool. So let's see if these cars are any good. Well, as you can see over here, none of the E&W cars make much of an impact. Obviously, there are also not a lot of times, but that's also because not a lot of people care about the times of these. Over here, as you can see, if we spread it open a little bit more, the Volvo V60 turns out to be pretty decent, but then again, not a lot of competition to put it up against. The moment I bring in the Holden Avalanche, then everything just goes away. I mean, the Avalanche is a better car, and basically for this niche before E&W, the Avalanche was the car to use. At one point, it was even considered an RQ64. Then you bring in the Volvo V40 T5, and that becomes the best car of the niche. That being said, though, the Holden, being 2 RQ cheaper, is still more of a menace in the snow. I wonder if that has to do with weight. This is 2026 to 1,569. So, very interestingly enough, the heavier car is better, also better on the twisty circuit on the dirt, which is pretty interesting. But for the most part, the Volvo V40 is the best car, and basically everything else, I would say, besides the Volvo and the V90, are all pretty irrelevant. Maybe it's not that fair to judge the Skoda Octavia because not a lot of people have put the times for this. But to be honest, the fact that a lot of players are not interested in putting times for these cars kind of speaks volume in itself. I don't own it, so I can't put any times. In fact, of every car here, the only one I have fully upgraded is this Volvo V60 cross country. I do own the V90, but I've just not gotten around to maxing it because there's no point for doing that. So let's get into ranking the all-surface tire cars real quick. The standouts would be the V40. I'm gonna put that in frequent provider. It's basically going to only be useful when the niche is required, when an estate off-road niche is required and you can't use any off-road tires. To be fair, I don't think there are any estate off-road tire cars anyway. Maybe 1 or 2, but yeah, the Volvo V40 is, the king of its niche. So I'm gonna put it in frequent provider. Outside of that, we're gonna go with the V90, which is gonna be pernicious also. From the times that we have seen, it isn't that bad, but most of the other all-surface tire cars, not a good look. So I'm gonna put them all here. The Skoda Octavia, it's kind of hard to judge this one, mainly because there are not a lot of times for it, to be honest. Once again, if you go back into the comparison, as you can see over here, I mean, it's worse on the twisty road compared to the Volvo. Fully upgraded, you're talking 5,982 to 5,981. So the fact that the Skoda just handles a little less kind of just wants me to put it in hot garbage anyway. Handling is everything in these off-road tire situations. Same thing for the XC70 as well as the other XC70, the RQ50. That's not going to go very far. The Volvo V60 cross country as well leaves very little to be desired. So that's basically my representation, my opinion of the all-surface tire cars that you can unpack. Now, moving on to the second part of ultra rares, we're going to talk about basically the four-wheel drive stuff and like the performance tire stuff as well, and the medium ground clearance stuff. So over here, we'll talk about four-wheel drive first. The Volvo V90 T8 doesn't really make much of an impact in the super twisty situations, but it is pretty decent on fast circuit rolling. Some of the longer stuff, hairpin road and city street small, the Volvo is pretty good in actually. It beats the Ford Escort RS, it also beats the Delta S4, and you know, as long as you're beating cars within your own RQ, it's pretty fair to say that you're kind of deserving of that RQ. It doesn't really excel in super twisty situations like medium, car park, G-force, indoor karting, karting circuit. Cars like the Escort, that's 4892 compared to 4286 are going to excel, but the very low 0 to 60 on the V90 T8 makes it relatively useful. Now moving on to the lower end stuff, we're going to start down here of RQ50 with the Ford Fiesta compared with the DS Performance. I'm going to put them both at 323, and as you can see, the Fiesta is pretty decent, being the better car compared to the DS Performance, so that's some food for thought. Now we're going to bring in the Citroen DS4 Racing. I'm going to put that in as 233, and the crazy thing is at 53 RQ, it actually loses to the Ford Fiesta on car park. It also loses to the Ford Fiesta on slalom, but it is a pretty decent car on the fast circuit and twisty circuit. To be fair, I'm saying it's a pretty decent car. I'm comparing it to a bunch of four-wheel drives, so that's not even the best representation of it. And then obviously we're going to put in the Citroen Saxo. This one is really, really good, as you can see, beating out the entire competition. Anyway, we're going to take away the Saxo for a second because I want to show you the comparison between the Ford Focus ST and the Megane. So we'll put both of them in, and as you can see, the Ford Focus ST has nothing on the Megane besides fast circuit and fast circuit rolling. Then the moment you put in the Ignis, and the Ignis becomes the best car. Now we can put in the Saxo as well. If we take away the Ignis, you will see that the Saxo is a very strong car for RQ50. Ignis though, sweeping the entire line. Also shout out to the Volvo V60 T6 all-wheel drive. Nobody decided to put any times. Actually, there's only one time for this car, and it's the 0 to 150. Last but not least, cream of the crop, we have the Citroen C3 Max against the Peugeot 306 Maxi. Some people might say it's not a fair comparison because it's a 62 to 64. I say I don't care. I'm going to compare both of these two cars anyway, and as you can see, the Peugeot 306 is king, but impressively, the Citroen C3 Max beats the Maxi on the slalom, which is some food for thought as well. In fact, I kind of want to add one other car. Let's add the C3 one more time, and let's see if there's a 323 time. Yeah, you know what, guys? If you have a Citroen C3 Max, it might be something to consider to go 323. If it ends up being the best for the slalom test, that might be something to consider about. But anyway, let's go back into the ultra rares over here. So we're going to start with the Citroen DS4 Racing. I'm just going to put it in frequent provider. Within its niche of kind of front-wheel drive cars, it's like more towards pernicious ulcer. But because there are not a lot of French ultra rares in the game, and it's kind of underrepresented, the Citroen's DS4 at least has a space within its own country. So I'm going to give that frequent provider. There are times that you are going to be using that. The Ford Fiesta ST, as far as 50s go, are pretty decent as well. It is one of the better 50s for sure. The Ford Focus ST, however, is pernicious ulcer. I understand it's medium ground clearance, but if you can't beat that Megane, there ain't gonna be much use for you, to be honest. Moving on to the four-wheel drive Volvos, the Volvo V50 left very little to be desired. I mean, a lot of you guys watching that comparison probably didn't even know that the car was sitting over there. I'm gonna put the V60 in a hog garbage. It might prove me wrong later in the future, but the fact that it just handles less than the V50, and the V50 already isn't showing, you know, a good performance and good times in the representation sheet, I don't think that the V60 is going to be any better. Now, moving on, the V90 looks pretty good. I'm going to put that in daily driver. I think the main thing that kind of propels it forward is that really low 0 to 60. Then that Skoda Octavia, which is also going to be hot garbage. I have that car fully upgraded. I've only used it about 2 times in some kind of challenge or so. Now, moving on to the Citroen Saxo Super, I'm going to put that in Der Kaiser. Fantastic value for your RQ, a car that I would definitely easily select all the time. Now, Moving on are the standard tire Volvos. We have the Volvo V50 T5 all-wheel drive and with the Volvo V60 plug-in hybrid. So we're going to go back to the times in this one. We'll get rid of that one. And we're going to go over here. I just realized that one of the Volvos was not represented. So let me add that in, the 59. Let's see if that's able to make a dent. No, it does not. But it does seem to be pretty on par, actually better than the 61. The plug-in hybrid is better on twisty circuit rolling, twisty road, Monaco G-force, Monaco hairpin, karting circuit they tie, and it's even better on their car park and the city streets small. So yeah, fair to say the V50 T5 all-wheel drive, not that good. The RQ60 Skoda Enyaq being the best car there, and if you take away both Enyaqs, I believe the best car is going to be represented by the BMW 520D. So with that being said, these two standard tire cars are not that good. The V50 hot garbage, the V60 pernicious ulcer. Now let's move on to the off-road tire cars. You can't really go wrong with the off-road tire cars. I forgot to talk about the Citroen C3 Max. It's gonna be daily driver. Now let's talk about the off-road tire cars real quickly. All of these cars are decent value for your money. I'm going to put all of them in daily driver. Now, the problem with the DS3 is that I would have put it in Dirk Kaiser if it remained RQ51 and low ground clearance, or RQ52 and low ground clearance. But because it went up to medium ground clearance, Hutch felt that they needed to bump it up by almost 10 or about 10 RQ to 62, making it a bit too, just a little bit too expensive. I mean, at that point, you'd rather just use a Citroen Visa. So in a sense, the DS3 used to be good because it was a cheaper option than the Visa. Although it will lose to the Visa, at least it was cheaper. Now that the Citroen is even more expensive to use than the Visa, and the Visa is the better car, it doesn't make much sense to even rate the DS3 R3T that high anymore. So I'm going to put all these cars kind of at daily driver category, and obviously the Visa 1000 is going to be Dirk Kaiser. This thing is an epic killer. Now let's move on to the epics. Now I'm going to go through the epics super quickly. We don't need to look at any times. Your shit. Last but not least, the Citroen Zara kit car. That's a really impressive one too. I'm going to put that in Dirk Kaiser. It doesn't have a lot of MRI or anything like that, but the handling is really good and it will beat out the Corsa in many places, which used to be the best epic front-wheel drive off-road car, and also slash the best front-wheel drive off-road tire car in the game. So those three cars are really, really decent. Now, moving on to legendaries, I mean, what do you want me to say? I mean, all of these legendaries are really strong. You can't go wrong with four-wheel drive and off-road tires. Until proven otherwise, all of these cars, in my opinion, belong at the highest tier because of the value that they provide. Now, if you are super strict about it, some people might argue that the C3 WRC is the only one that deserves their Kaiser, and all these other four-wheel drive cars are going to move down the list, and eventually they are going to move down the list. Remember slick tires. I'm going to go off a small tangent. Remember slick tires? Back in 2017, back in 2018, having a slick tire car was almost an instant win in anything dry because slick tire cars were really rare and hard to come by, and having a slick tire car just felt like an extra performance boost because they always tend to have a little bit more MRA and they tend to just have a little bit more handling, right? And they used to be the only ones ruling that base. But now with every single update, it seems to add like 5, 6 to 10 slick tire performance based cars, right? And so like obviously that slick tire niche has become so diluted that obviously cars that used to be fantastic back in the day, for example the Porsche RSR, aren't as good today anymore because they keep adding slick tire cars that are better. So yes, one day in the future I'm gonna have to be more lethal and more strict with these four-wheel drive off-road tire cars. When the competition pool gets too saturated and there are too many of them, then I will start to basically, you know, judge them with more scrutiny, if you will. But for now, I think it's pretty rare to come by for these cars. Obviously, these ENW ones are still pretty good. The APGP ones are still pretty good. I think the addition of the ENW and APGP four-wheel drive off-road tire cars, the only thing that they really killed were the Italian Renaissance Lancias Integrales, which used to be some of the best in the game, which are now basically irrelevant. But for now, I'm going to put them all here. So like I said, this pack is a really good representation of what ENW is. You know, they got some really good specialist cars, like off-road tire cars, slick tire cars, that kind of stuff. But anything else for standard tires, performance tires, they're all just kind of mid, you know? And like, it's just not worth opening this pack. There's not a single epic that you can get from this pack and you're gonna be like, oh my god, that's pretty cool. Like, Titanium pack, for example, you got an 80% chance at an epic, 20% chance at a legendary. I'll tell you this much. 20% chance at a Dirk Kaiser Legendary does not outweigh an 80% chance at Hot Garbage Epic. I'll tell you that much. Like, I just imagine spending 5,000 gold, right? And then that's like $50, and you get some bullshit like a Skoda Superb Scout. What are you gonna do? You know what I mean? Yes, there's a 20% chance that you're gonna hit gold and you get one of those, you know, Citroens and they're really, really strong. But I'm more of a pessimist when it comes to opening packs. You gotta think about the odds. I was even telling myself, even in 50-50 scenario, 50% legend, 50% epic. I mean, we've seen that happen to me before, and I rolled the 50% epic in that black diamond pack. Not worth it. The only time I would actually spend 5,000 gold on a pack like this is if the minimum percentage for getting the legendary is 75%, and even then I was super skeptical. But anyway, guys, that's gonna be it for today. Let me know down in the comments below what you think about the GT series coming up. I know some of you guys like it. I think it's completely boring. I think that the requirements are almost absolutely garbage. I don't care what's gonna happen. Whatever, it is what it is. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great day. I'm gonna stay safe, wash your hands, and yeah, I mean, I didn't give you my verdict, right? My verdict, I think it's pretty clear though. I'm not gonna open anything. Anyway, hope you guys have a great day. Stay safe, wash your hands, and balls out. Peace.
Bro, this song just makes me so happy.
Me too.
Imagine being Asian in the 50s, looking nifty, leather jacket, looking sleek, look like Presley, look so deadly. Got a jukebox back at home, feeling jazzy, turn it on and play it slow, like the movies with the ladies.
They so fine.
Imagine being Asian in the 50s, looking nifty, leather jacket, looking sleek, look like Presley, look so deadly. Got a jukebox back at home, feeling jazzy, turn it on and play it slow, like the movies with the ladies.
They so fine.
Sit back, relax in my Bonneville
Pontiac.
Hold tight all night, cruise to Jacksonville
Atlantic.